Good evening, card fans. We have another one of the Brisbane boys with us today. So we've got the quartet now. I'd like to thank Ernest for coming on. Ernest, would you just like to say hello to everyone listening?
Oh, thanks for having me on, Timothy. Hello, everyone. My name's Ernest. Some of you may have played me at various regionals. I'm a One Piece card game player, and I'm also part of Eternal Magic, specifically like I play with the Eternal Magic Queensland crew. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, cool. So for those of you who don't know, Ernest has quite the record. So he's very modest about it. But would you like to tell some people like your most recent records and some of your proudest achievements?
Yeah, sure. So some of the notable recent records was two tops with Doflamingo. So I managed to get a Treasure Cup win in February earlier this year with Doflamingo, and then the in Brisbane, which was actually the following tournament, I was also able to go undefeated in Swiss,
Yeah.
but I lost in the first round of Top Cut to the eventual champion Jasper. But I think that back-to-back Swiss accomplishment was probably one of the coolest things uh, that has happened to me. Especially, I think doing well in the town that you reside in is always really cool. Just having that support of the locals. Yeah, but overall, I've had 8 tops, so like top 16s overall, and I've been playing since pre-release.
Yeah, cool. Did you come from a different game into One Piece, or
So
was One Piece?
One Piece is my first competitive, first card game that I've been competitive in. I've dabbled in, board games, Magic the Gathering prior, so I did like a fair bit of like drafts and kind of like Pioneer format Magic the Gathering for maybe like probably like just when COVID hit. It's so I've come from that casual kind of kitchen Magic the Gathering background.
Yeah, nice. And did that have any impact, do you think, on your ability to pick up One Piece and start playing, or was it
Yeah, like
just
there's definitely some transferable skills. A lot of the early fundamentals of One Piece, like also kind of including the mental aspects of like competing in tournaments. Like I actually learned from Magic the Gathering. There's a really good series by Reed Duke. He's like one of the great Magic the Gathering Hall of Famers. He has a free like series of articles on the Magic the Gathering website. It's called Level One Full Course,
yeah,
and
okay,
it talks like it covers like a lot of basic trading card fundamentals
yeah,
like tempo, advantage, and then also just preparing for tournaments and things like that.
yeah,
So
right.
I think a
I've
lot of those
got
like
games there. I've got
early
the link.
kind of general trading card fundamentals. That's like
Yeah,
yeah. It's a great resource.
yeah. Fundamentals super important, and it's probably something that I'm lacking in. So that's something I'll definitely be looking into. So you started pre-release, started going. When did you think, I'd like to get a bit more serious in the competitive side of One Piece?
So I think at the start, like One Piece was definitely like it was a very social thing for me. So I I actually delayed my move to the Gold Coast so I could pick up the booster box for OPO1. And when I moved to the Gold Coast, I didn't really have any friends. So um, like having a local One Piece community was a really good way to meet new people. And yeah, like I think yeah. So I think to answer your question, like I was always like attending locals maybe like 2 times a week. But I think like once you get that first top, that's probably when you start like wanting to keep compete more, and then you try to like set higher goals for yourself.
Yeah, so that first initial taste of success drove further. Sort of, you wanted to do better, which
Yeah,
was
like it's actually quite interesting. Like I was at the first Treasure Cup in Sydney, and it was such a huge deal when someone in our locals came top 64. And I think, yeah, so in terms of like competitiveness, it was probably the top 32 finalist playmat in OPO2, and like everyone at locals like really wanted one, and I was able to get one kind of the first OPO2 tournament. So like that was pretty cool, and then you just kind of keep playing, and yeah, I think having those top experiences definitely helps, um, like that with that initial spark. Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't had that experience, but I still have developed over time that drive to want to do better, just based on my results that I've had. And it's similar sort of feeling where you're like, okay, I've done this, and I want to do better. Um, so we were talking a little bit earlier, and we were like, oh, sort of things we can talk about, and some of the things that we came up with were tournament preparation and mental game. So, can you walk me through like the week prior to a big regional event? Like, what does that actually look like for you?
Yeah. I think these days, I think because life is quite busy, a lot of my grinding like ramps up kind of the week prior, like maybe like 2 weeks prior. I try not to over prepare kind of in the days leading up to a tournament. But uh, you know, I like playing the sim a lot, so
Yeah,
I make use of that resource, and yeah, so just like grinding out a lot of games. I think for tournaments where I do like particularly well in, like often there's a lot of kind of like like tracking of results prior. So I'm
yeah,
like tracking my win loss ratios with and then kind of like tracking, when I win and lose, going first and second, and also like across different decks. I'm someone who typically chooses like one or two decks to main at the start of a set, and I kind of just like stick to those. So like some people like to play everything. I used to just like play one deck, but I think these days, like sometimes, if I'm losing motivation to like keep grinding a specific deck, I might like pivot off. Yeah, in terms of preparation, it's just yeah, grinding a lot of games.
yeah. Cool. So that deck choice, when you're grinding out there at the start, have you made the deck choice prior to that time when you're grinding? Is that something that you do earlier in the set release?
Um,
Where you're like,
so I think like initially, like when I was getting into the card game, like for example, like the first deck that I topped with was a Vankov.
okay,
That one was like I was trying to challenge myself. I was like, I played Zoro OP1, so I just really wanted to play something that I could like use my brain a little bit more. But I think the issue with Ivankov is that there are like a couple of like poor matchups just in the overall spread, and so it makes it a little bit harder to do well in a tournament setting. So I'm someone who really like I think like ever since that experience, I've tried to stick to decks that generally do well in tournaments. So a lot. So yeah. So I guess like before tournament before a meta comes out, you can kind of like look at some tournament data in the East, what's doing well, what other people on Twitter are talking about. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a bit off topic, but how do you feel about then an upcoming global release where you have to start making those deck choices internally? Like you have quite a tight knit group up there, so you have a lot of resources at hand to help with that. But deck construction and things like that, is that something that you're looking forward to, or not so
Uh,
much?
I think it's pretty cool. Like I think it definitely uh gives advantage to people that are naturally good at deck building. I am not someone who is good at deck building. At least I don't consider myself a good deck builder. A lot of my good results are really just taking some net deck and piloting it. So I don't really see deck building as a strength or like making meta calls. Often I'll make very poor meta calls. Like I'll play Lucci for 7 tournaments in a row and go X4, and just not learn my lesson. So it's like, um, yeah, like I'm really gonna have to, trust. I'll probably try and like listen to more kind of voices on Twitter, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
But like
I'm
at the same time, I was actually pretty like into the FBO1 format of Dragon Ball Fusion World, but when it was like that has a worldwide simultaneous release. I know it's like only one. Like it's very different because it's like one set versus One Piece, which has like a card pool of 14 sets or like whatever the amount is post
Yeah.
rotation. So yeah, like yeah, but I think overall I'll probably try and like still try and net deck. So at least people are like always testing online and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm 100% a net decker. I've said this before. Every time I try to create a deck, it's abysmal. It's not worth my time, and it's not worth the time of the person I'm playing. It like just ruins it for everyone. Cool. And so, got your deck. You're grinding out. You're obviously working with the guys up there as well in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like Elliot, Cam, Duval, and Daniel Peck. That's the kind of local training crew in Brisbane that we predominantly play. Like we also like attend locals and things like that.
Yeah, and I was about to say locals come into it a bit as well with.
Yeah, for sure. Like we really enjoy going to locals. I think for me, like One Piece, like started out as a community thing. So yeah, like the community at the Gold Coast, Wonderland Games, like those, that crew is amazing, and like it's what like inspired a lot of the passion and competitive spirit. And then yeah, like moving to Brisbane, like Mint Collectibles, Jojo Hobby House, they've also been really good. Just like the locals is really strong. I actually rarely do well at locals. I think with Doflamingo, even though I came, uh, like I was able to win a treasure cup, I don't think I've ever topped with it at locals.
Is that because there's so many random rogue decks that are locals that
It's
sort
not
of
even
hard
that. It's
counter it?
that there always is a bit of luck aspect, I think, with card games. So you just kind of have to accept that.
Yeah.
Um,
So, is there anything that you've stopped doing because it just wasn't helping you at all in terms of getting prepared for events? Something that you've gone, oh, I've got to just stop doing this because it's impacting on my results.
look, I think like preparing for a tournament, like at first I was like really big into Excel spreadsheet. Like I did mention like Excel is probably one of those like using that statistics driven approach and just grinding a buttload of games is something I am like on and off with. So it's probably like a discipline thing. Like there's like, and so I think with Evankov it was probably like 300 games, and Whitebeard was probably like thousands of games. And then I think the more data I tracked, just like the harder it was to to keep up. I think these days I probably don't track as much because you can kind of like use the lazy man method with ranked sim. Like there's a fair bit of trackers that will basically track your win loss ratio for across different decks. Um, but I think for the next tournament, I'm probably going to try and sit down and create a spreadsheet just because I think it will give me more confidence. I think.
Yeah, I've done it in the past. Did it for nationals, and it helped me. But there's some of the guys that I play with locally in Newcastle did it as well, and they were like, I will never do that again," because they were like, just it. They were like, it gave me confidence in the wrong way in terms of they felt so confident going into matchups that they were like, oh, I'll win this sort of thing. And I guess that's can lead into the next sort of segment where we start talking about the mental side of things. So you've done all the training, you're at the event. Mentally, what sort of things are you working on to sort of play at your optimal?
Right. I guess like honestly, a lot of the mental preparation starts before the tournament. I guess like that's why they call it preparation.
Yeah.
So I try to like be in a good mental state, and like even if like things aren't really going, like that great. For example, outside of card games, just like life stuff, you really have to try and be disciplined and kind of like push it aside, kind of like park things until after the tournament. You don't really want to get too distracted. I'm someone who's pretty into meditation. So I think like famously, like if I'm at offline regional, you'll probably see me like win or lose, just like after a round, walk off and just kind of do like a 5 minute breathing exercise. Like people will try and like come up and like talk to me, and I'll just kind of like show them my phone, and it's got like the 5 minute counter.
Yeah.
So that the like that kind of like those kind of like meditation exercises is meant to stop you from thinking about the game that you just had. So like what I like to do is I like to like immediately after the game, I'll just like write down some quick notes, you know, win loss, and then why I won, why I lost, and then just try and like not think about it for the rest of the tournament. Like you have the notes there, so you can always review it later. And the meditation is there to try and like not think about anything so that you can go into the next round, you know, fresh and not thinking about um, like the previous round. Like if you like lost really badly, you don't want that to result in tilt. And if you won like hugely, you don't want to be overconfident.
Yeah. So that's something that has not been mentioned before, and I think I saw that you mentioned that on your Twitter around the same time as you won as the treasure. It might have been when you won the treasure cup,
Uh,
or when you
I
went.
think it was yeah, like with Brisbane, like you never expect to go undefeated Swiss. At least not me. Like I always like kind of expect like when I go into a tournament, like in reality, like I think what I expect of myself is probably X3, and then if you're lucky, you get X2. If you're really lucky, you get X1. But you're never really preparing for that. So I think the longer that you go undefeated, like the more like it's more likely that I'll psych myself out. So it's really important to just kind of maintain your like composure. I find that with like in-person events, I can get really distracted by the energy in the room and like like just wanting to socialize and chat with everyone, but that can really like tire you out. So I just like try to find like yeah, like I'm normally really social. I like talking with people, but it's like specifically for tournaments, I try to maintain that kind of personal bubble. Like I do that in my kind of online regionals. Like between rounds, I'm still doing breathing exercises. If I'm doing particularly well, I might do a cold shower. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
like, yeah, 2 minute cold shower. Like, I basically, I don't know, I just like tell myself little stories when I'm having a cold shower. I'll be like, oh, you know, if you can't make 2 minutes in the cold shower, you're gonna lose the next game, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That's
funny story. I think before the first time I ever interacted with Elliot, um, like it was Sydney regionals, and it was after lunch break, round 4 in Sydney, and I saw that I was paired up with Elliot, the Elliot Charters, and then I just like kind of freaked out, and I like actually just like ran to my the hotel that I was staying at. I had a cold shower, and yeah, and then I was able to beat him, and I guess the rest is history. He's a great friend.
yeah. Well, that's handy having the hotel that close that you can get that in. So that meditative breathing exercises that you're doing, does that take away the sort of any form of self talk? Like if you go say 2-1 at meditative breath work, just getting yourself in that state, not thinking, does that take away any of that self doubt sort of?
uh, yeah, like in general, I don't think it's very practical to Uh, look, like if you have to choose, like for self talk, if you have to choose between negative and positive, it's probably still better to use positive self talk. So
Yeah,
if you can like hype yourself and be like, you know, I can do this, like that's probably better than just like saying like trying to berate yourself over some kind of mistake. But I think in general, I think like with a tournament, you can kind of have one or two losses, and still make top 32. Which, like for me, is like my personal goal when I do a tournament. Like I want to make top 32.
yeah,
Probably the only reason is probably because it used to be, it meant a finalist mat. Like these days, it means a couple of finalist cards, which doesn't. I don't think it means as much as it used to, but I probably still have that mentality. So yeah, like I think because of that, you can afford to lose a couple of games uh,
yeah.
before you're like completely out of the running. And then like when you're like completely out of the running, you can always just drop if you want, like, especially if it's online.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah, so
ever
yeah.
mentally checked out of a tournament then, or have
Uh,
you sort of got that game sorted?
so I've only dropped once, which was the tournament. I was playing P Luffy for the first time. It was like the first tournament after Nats, and I just went like 0-3. So I was just like, oh, like as I just dropped and just tried to enjoy my Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think maybe like in the most recent Sydney regional, I played UP, and I think I lost the first round, and then I basically like when you lose the first round, if you want to make top 16, then you basically just have to go like undefeated. So I tried really hard to kind of like stay focused and like really wanted that top 16 like result. And so I was able to go all the way to round 7 before I got my second loss. And then I think that's kind of like when reality sets in. You kind of know that no matter how many games you win after, you won't make top 16. So I think like that is probably the closest to kind of like checking out. It's just kind of like that feeling of like, like oh, what a shame. But I think like as long as you like with losses, like it's good to just kind of like analyze the game and just kind of like accept that like sometimes like it is a game of luck and you're making like choices based off probability. Sometimes you make a choice and if in that particular scenario you'd always make that choice like no like um you kind of just have to accept the result. Yeah, like sometimes they just have all the 2Ks and that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah, if
all
they have it
good.
they have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, so in that instance of Sydney where you got to round 7 and lost, does your enjoyment of the remaining two games change? Do you think there, like, because you're still playing against the top players there, like there's still players likely who can. Well, I'm not sure with pairing down and things like that because I've
uh
never been that high, but you're still competing for like a high spot, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Like some people are actually probably still in the running to make top 16 because the way um so we used to use the Best Coast pairing app, and then now we're using the Bandai TCG app. I think the main differences, at least like from my impression, is that the current app doesn't always like pair based off opponent win rate, whereas like it used to. So I think like nowadays, like you might be X1, but you might verse some like I might be a round one X1, but I might pair up with someone who just lost like a round. I think like yeah, so there definitely is like stuff on the line. Look, if I'm like out of the running, I'm probably just playing for fun.
yeah,
So just like more relaxed. Like at that point, if you lose, like, well, you weren't going to make top 16 anyways. I'm not too like hard on myself.
yeah, yeah, cool. After a tournament, do you mentally unpack? Do you have a series of things that you like to do after a tournament?
Look, I think like usually after a tournament, like um, look like normally I don't know, like I think I was in New Zealand and then like post a tournament. It was really interesting just like hearing some of the other players get really excited to make Twitter posts. Like honestly, like if I were to be honest, like yeah, like sometimes I like to draft up like a fun Twitter post. It's always nice to kind of like spread all your cards. But generally before that happens, people are already kind of inviting each other to go get some food.
Yeah,
So yeah, a lot of my post tournament rituals is just eating.
yeah,
So yeah, like eating a buffet.
yeah. And then inversely to that, you top cut and you've got to come back the next day. What do you do differently then?
Um, I've only had that happen to me twice. Um, the first time I like had really like a lot of trouble sleeping. But I always like have trouble sleeping before tournaments, so it's not really that different. But I guess like in general, like if you have I think ideally eat but don't eat too much, and make sure you have good sleep hygiene. If you're someone that doesn't sleep that well around tournaments, then it's maybe you just have to squeeze in that sleep earlier in the week, so maybe like a Wednesday or something like that. Um, and yeah, like I think if I, you know, I guess like traditionally, like I'll try and prepare for the matchup.
Yeah.
That yeah, like so if I know that I'm yeah, like I'll like ask people that play that deck for tips, you know, that kind of stuff. Or if your teammates around you they've got the cards and you can just kind of grind a couple of games, but you don't want to play too much as well. Sometimes you just want to like yeah, trust in yourself.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. This has been wonderful chatting, and I'm definitely learning a lot there. Uh, I I guess outside of tournament prep and being mentally checked in and being in the zone, are and you talk about Twitter there before, like Twitter seems to be quite the community for One Piece. Um, with events like we're on in Singapore over the weekend, how intently are you watching that sort of stuff to get like tips or anything like that? Because I was watching a fair bit of that and looking at it, I'm like, oh, these guys are like really good. Maybe I should be reaching out to these guys for coaching, sort of thing. And then they're putting their metaphors. Are you watching that intently as well, or is that
Yeah.
just something?
Um, like to be honest, all right, and like firstly, like the Singaporeans are like insanely good, you know, and so no, we always like having them in Australia. And yeah, and I've been coached by a couple of them. Shout out to Ben, who coached me on Doflamingo. But yeah, like so in terms of like following, like streams of top level competitive events, I really should be doing more because I think those are probably the best examples of gameplay. Like not just like the tournaments in the East, in Japan and Singapore, etc., but also kind of in the same format over in America or Europe, for example. Like I really should be consuming that content more. I think I just don't have as much like the time that I want like to do that. Sometimes I will set aside an evening and just like sit down and like watch a stream of an event that just happened, but I, I very rarely have enough time to like watch it live and react live. Whereas like for example, my friend Duval, like straight after watching Superman, like during the credits, he's probably already watching the Grand Asia Open, and then we're just like watching the like some game like straight after the movie. So like people, yeah, and so I think for me, I get a lot of that information probably through my group, like you know, like people like you know Steven, like he's always posting like clips from like Japan One Piece YouTube. So I get exposure that way. But yeah, like a lot of it is just kind of like following you know what decks are doing well and like tournament results across like yeah in Twitter, but also like Limitless TCG, for example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mentioned, I find it really interesting just watching those guys on the streams how they approach playing, and even at a regionals event, right? So towards the end of the day, and you can go over and just, everyone sort of stands around those top players, and you're watching, and I find like I learn so much from those interactions, like just how different lines and things like that that people take, and it's really good for me. You mentioned coaching earlier. There, um, I've had coaching before, and I think it's a wonderful sort of asset to have in your back pocket. Is there? Do you think you would have preferred to do more coaching, less coaching in your sort of as you came through?
I think so. I think the first time I reached out to get coaching, it was kind of like one-off sessions to check my understanding of like how I was piloting a deck, and then like that's how I approached it. But specifically with Doflamingo, um, that was like a period in a format where I was basically maining Shanks for the majority of you know preparing for Nats OP9, and I think after not doing well in multiple tournaments and crying a bunch, like my friends basically just saying, oh, just play Doflamingo. And I think knowing that I didn't have the amount of reps compared to some of the other like amazing Doflamingo players that we have in Australia, like the Melbourne crew, like people like Braden Turner, etc. Like I don't have the reps, so like sometimes it's just good to go to the source. And like I know that Ben was someone that had uh, he's had like experience like coaching a lot of people on Doflamingo in Australia. Like he coached Daniel Peck, Cam Stephen. So I just reached out to him as well. And um, like interesting. Like so I think I got like 2 sessions. And then I think like immediately after those 2 sessions, I think I played that particular treasure cup more as practice. Like I wanted to make sure that I had some kind of like tournament experience with Doflamingo before Brisbane. Like that was the main thing that I was preparing for. And then like I did not expect to just win off the bat of 2 coaching sessions. So but yeah, like, I guess like to answer your question, like do I wish that I got coaching kind of like in terms of the timing of the coaching? I guess um look, coaching isn't like it's not cheap. It's definitely a luxury. Like
Yeah.
I would love to be able to have a regular coach. Sometimes it's like for confidence, the coaching, like maybe to check your understanding.
Yeah.
It's also really useful if you know absolutely nothing about a deck and you just want to get prepped for a tournament. Kind of outsourcing that knowledge. But you can definitely accomplish a lot through guides, watching YouTube. Like I find a lot of guides like these days kind of like very pricey. So you definitely have to kind of pick and choose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, coming in with not really any prior experience to card games at all, like getting that coaching to help me understand like just basic fundamentals, really, it was really good. But even there, I'm still like, you still got to put in the effort, right?
Yeah, you need to really find, you kind of need to, like, not every coach is going to work for everyone. So, like, for me, I've kind of had a couple of different coaches and, like, one-off sessions. And I think with Ben, I think the way that he approached the sessions, like, I really vibed with it. It didn't really make sense to me at first. Like, it was very verbal and, like, chatting through theory rather than, like, actual gameplay.
Yeah,
Like the gameplay kind of came later, but a lot of it at the start was kind of just chatting, which kind of puzzled me. But look, like I got results out of it, so I'm happy with that. And like Ben is probably someone that I'm like very comfortable recommending, and someone that I would like go back and who I have gone back to for additional kind of coaching sessions. So I think it's about finding someone that really vibes that you can vibe with. And I think like finding people that are not afraid to tell you that you're doing something wrong. Like
yeah,
I prefer like I think like when you're paying someone for 2 hours, you don't want to waste time. Just you need someone to tell you that oh, this is a very bad bad play. Why are you doing that? And like that, because that's the only way you can really improve. So you can probably like honestly like you can even apply that at locals. I think like kind of like that post game chatter. Like I really value that. Just kind of like chatting. Like it's not really about ego. It's not about who won or lost. It's just about like like let's discuss and analyze why the outcome of the game was the way it is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Improvement for all. Um, do, Again, wonderful chatting with you. Do you have anything that you like, any topics, any sort of things that you want to cover that we haven't already talked about?
I
It's a
don't.
very broad
Yeah.
question. I appreciate that.
I like honestly, I can't really think of anything off the fly. But like it's been a real pleasure. Just chatting with you. You're very easy to talk to, and yeah, no, I'm hopefully we'll be able to get. Yeah, I want to listen to the stories of other players in Australia.
Yeah, no, and I think this is one of the things is to highlight how good the Oceania players are, and that we need more than one spot at the Worlds. I think we need at least two. But
Yeah, I
um,
guess like one thing I can chat about is like I think overall what I've gotten out of One Piece
yeah,
is just like making those connections and friendships. I think like I really value that. So um, um, I don't know. It's nice to have made a lot of friends in this hobby.
yeah, yeah. No, I've feel the same. Made some, I think we'll be lifelong friends playing this game. And speaking of that, do you have any of your friends, people that you'd like to call out, shout out? We can drop their links and things below.
Yeah, sure. Look, firstly, shout out to Eternal Magic. Shout out to the Eternal Magic Brisbane crew. Elliot, Stephen, Duval, Daniel Peck. Shout out to people at locals. So Wonderland Games on the Gold Coast, and then also Mint Collectibles and Jojo Hobby House in Brisbane. Shout out to my wife.
Yep. Can't forget the wife. And then also always finish on this. Do you prefer manga, anime, live action, or just play the cards?
But yeah. Look, I actually quite like the live action, but I came into One Piece through the manga. So I started reading around Thriller Bark. So I've been reading kind of one chapter, uh, like that kind of speed for a very long time now. And I'm I don't really have the time to watch anime, and this might be blasphemous, but I don't think the quality of the animation of the anime is particularly good. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to get really into it, and I think it's probably sometimes the fan service can get a little bit too dialed up. I think with the One Piece, with the One Piece manga, it's definitely just more Oda's vision, a little bit more it's easier to consume for me at least. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Back to what you said about the live action and how you didn't mind it. I think the live action cops a lot of flack. I think it was. I'm going to say it. I like it. I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you can really tell that everyone involved in that show really likes the source material, and it's not one to one. It makes it makes changes, but no, I think overall it's good. It exposes One Piece to a lot of people that normally wouldn't consume that kind of media,
yeah,
and I'm really looking forward to the One Piece remake. To be honest, that's coming out. Yeah,
the
yeah. I think
the anime remake where it's
it's the
with
anime
kids.
remake. I feel like it's related to maybe the animation house that did Attack on Titan or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
just but I feel the because before I was I was criticizing the art quality
yeah,
of One Piece. I feel like this is the art will be amazing. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, and much reduced time as
Yeah.
well, which is
So I guess speaking about quality, I think when I first got into One Piece, I was kind of put off by some of the art in OPO1 because a lot of it was actually just screen grabs from the anime, and it felt there'll be vanillas and there'll be a text box and there's nothing in it. It's that kind of stuff for me. I'm I have no idea, do I even like this game? But I think as this game has progressed, the art has gotten quite good, and there's everything that has even the vanillas have original art now.
yeah,
So yeah. But yes, yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. So hopefully I don't get too much hate about disliking the anime.
No,
It's not that I dislike the
no.
anime. I'm a manga guy.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the card art because there's been some discussion there in our local group now about the new Sabo leader being
Yeah, it's
almost
just the same thing. It's the same card.
yeah,
It's the same picture. Yeah, no, it's
yeah,
even I saw the Ace AA. It's literally just another event card. I think.
yeah, yeah. It's
Just
the event
full art.
card. Yeah,
It's I think out of all of the new art, I actually, all right, I'm a big fan of the Luffy and the Roger laughs. I think those are very iconic
yeah,
poses. I like the ugly Bonnie cry. I think that
yeah. I like
I
it too.
enjoy that. It'll be cool to see what the sixth leader will be. Yeah, but yeah, I have to say, I don't know. I think I definitely prefer the kind of I like the OPO3 kind of unique AA.
Yep,
It's the white and black and a couple of colors. And then I
yep,
also enjoy kind of the crew type AAs from OPO4 or the Emperor kind of set that we have had
yeah.
recently released. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
That grape Dofi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I kind of
uh,
enjoy that. I don't know. It's just because it's unique. It's a unique art. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I like that style too. The boa and who else like that? That one was really nice too. Um, But yeah, anyway, we digress. So I just want to thank you again for coming on. We'll drop those links for Eternal Magic, yourself on Twitter, and I'll get that Magic the Gathering link as well there that we can drop below that has the fundamentals. But yeah, truly appreciate you being on, and wish you all the best in any future games that you're playing, in any tournaments that you're in, and hopefully I'll catch up with you in Brisbane at the Brisbane Regionals coming up in, I think it's late
Yeah,
September.
and also see you in Adelaide.
Oh, you'll be in Adelaide.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, maybe like one thing to end on is like I try to like attend as many tournaments as I can. Like I don't like I'm not going to be able to play forever, so this is kind of like the an opportunity to get as like do as like do the best as I can.
Yeah,
um yeah, and I think like honestly, I think sometimes like the difference between people that like sometimes it's just about like playing a lot of tournaments. Yeah. So I think because like once you have like if you get a lot of reps and you just play a lot of tournaments, like some like the luck will kind of eventually go your way. That's kind of like how I see it. Like card games is
yeah,
like 85% skill, 15% luck. So you do need the like the amount of tournaments that you attend like that can impact the luck factor. Yeah.
yeah. Statistically, you're
Yeah.
going to have to win at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
All
optimistic.
right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, see you in Adelaide. But wonderful having you on, and really appreciate all your thoughts and all the discussion points that we had. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on.
Thanks for making the series and thanks for having me on. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Bye.